We are the Team Gladiators with all three team members present, with our project lead being Daniel St. John. My name is James Brooks, and also with us we have Malachi Bryant. And today we will be covering our organizational regulatory HIPAA plan. So first up, we want to talk about our state and federal laws. State and federal laws always want to ensure three things. They want to ensure the confidentiality and the integrity of the EPHI. State and federal laws also want to protect against reasonable threats, protect against reasonable and permissible uses or disclosure, and ensure compliance by company standards. So this time we're going to pass it over to Malachi, and Malachi is going to talk about the HIPAA security and competencies.
Okay, well, with the security competencies, it's going to go on 3 steps. The first one is increasing access to healthcare, and by doing so, this would allow patients to be able to use the portal on their tablet to be able to access information through there. The second step is fraud, waste, and abuse. And with that, with our switches and our switches and router, it prevents so that not just anyone could be able to come in and have access to the information that patients and doctors have. The next step is also protecting health information with the AAA authorization, and Daniel, once his portion comes up, he'll go more in depth on that part of it. Also, this will make sure that, the traffic is good, on both ends. And that's the reason why the firewalls are set up. And from there, I will, as far as patients access, I will pass that over to James.
Got it. So right here, we're at the, we're showing our packet tracer, and we're going to go to a tablet. And on a tablet, we will be able to make sure that each patient can access their medical records in the privacy of their own home by logging into an EHR portal provided by the hospital system. With this portal, we'll be able to make sure that as the patient logs in to the Wi-Fi access, that the passphrase will be encrypted with a passphrase that we identify. At any given time, we can reset this passphrase to where we can lock that individual or anyone else out of it. So they will have access if they're inside the hospital using the tablet, or they could use it in the privacy of their own home through an EHR portal. The next one was the patient records will be stored on a server on the East Campus. So being that we'll be able to be stored on a server on the East Campus, we will be able to secure the server with firewall protection, which we chose to use a SLQ Sentry software. And we'll also be able to use the AAA authentication to make sure that the server is secure and safe and the patient's records are secure. Each patient will have their own login credentials and password, and also be set up with a 2-step authentication. The server will have a key phrase encryption, which is called a transdata encryption. So this time, I'm going to pass it over to Daniel St. John, and he will move forward with the last and final phase of the presentation.
Good evening. So as we can see with our West Office server, we have AAA authentication enabled. The service is turned on. You can see the client name, the IP, server type, and the key. You can also see the user account for one of the doctors if they want to connect to the server to access patient records. From there, I'll take the packet tracer. I'll show that that from PC1 in the accounting office, we can still access our server that has patient records. So right here, so I'll go ahead and delete these real quick. If we do this, I'll send a packet from PC1 to the accounting office server. So as we can see, the packet goes to the switch sends the packet to the server sends it back to the switch, and sends it back to PC1. So it shows that we have access to our servers here. The next thing I'll show is the configuration of our routers. So each router is implemented with usernames and passwords. This gives us security, so nobody off the street can just connect to our network or be able to view our information. So I'll log into the West Office router, username admin, and there goes our password. So you can see that we have a username and a password all enabled. Here comes up another password. It's adding layers of security. So right here I'm showing the running configuration. As you can see, we have service password encryption enabled. This encrypts all of our passwords. So right here you can see one of our passwords. It's not written in plain text. It's written in an encrypted text. If we keep going down, we can see that we have DHCP enabled. DHCP is enabled on every single area router. So the small office router has DHCP, the accounting office has DHCP, everything does. So all the assets in that area can dynamically pull an IP address. So if we keep going, you can see that we have a username set up by the name of admin. The password is encrypted as well. We do have Secure Shell implemented as well. We're using Secure Shell version 2. If the network administrator for the organization, or if it's us, we can remotely connect to this router and configure its properties. So if we keep going down, we can see that the interfaces, each of them have IP addresses, and they also have clock rates. Right here, you can see our line console has a password, and it's login local, and the same thing with our line BTY 0 to 15. And we also have transport input secure shell. So the next thing we can show is, let's say if one of the doctors wants to work remotely, and let's say the East Office doctor wants to walk over to the West Office, he can go to his wireless configuration, goes here. Actually, let me swap this real quick. You can go to the desktop, he can go to PC wireless, to his Wi-Fi, and then he finds the West Office access point right here. He can connect, and right there, every single access point has a pre-shared key. And none of our pre-shared keys have weak passwords. So right there, he's able to connect, and as you can see, a connection has been established. From there, our PCs also have access to the East Office access point. So if we go to the web browser and we type in the IP address of the East Office access point, you can see that it has a username and password. So no one can just easily log into any part of our network. So right there, a network administrator can go in here and configure the properties of the East Office wireless access point. So as you can see, we have full network functionality across the board. We've covered every area of this presentation, and we hope that it satisfies your needs. And without further ado, this concludes our HIPAA presentation for Team Gladiators. Good?